So, at what point should you actually choose to make money versus trying to pursue women? And those two things don't really mesh very well. Speaking from personal experience, as a 40-year-old man, I've always done much better financially when I've been single, and I can kind of just like put my head down and buckle down and grind, right? And then every time I've been in a relationship, it's not just the money that you spend on them, on women, I should say. It's not just the money that you spend on them. There's like the time cost analysis, there's like the texting, and then there's also like the subconscious firewalling. We're gonna cover all that in this video right now. If you like this kind of content, scroll down, hit that subscribe button, where I impart upon thee the diary of Jufus, and we go through the women are from Mars and men are from Venus or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Women are crazy, dude, but we gotta navigate this shit. Subscribe. Okay, so what brought upon this video? I was talking to a younger guy, actually. Funny enough, and then we were just kind of sharing stories and all that. And I was saying how, like, let me give you a little bit of backstory on my personal experience, right? When I was in my 20s, I was with, it's when you're younger, you're kind of dumb. Or when I was in my 20s, we didn't have access to the same level of information that you guys do in this day and age. We kind of did, but we kind of didn't. Here's how old I am. When StarCraft 1 first came out in 1998, I had dial-up internet. For those of you that don't know, if you're on dial-up and your sibling picks up the phone, you get disconnected. It was crazy ass shit back in the day, dude. Y'all don't even know the struggle that we had to play video games. So, because we only had one phone line in the house, I would have to schedule my game time when the rest of my family was asleep. So I was just a full-on degenerate, man. So yeah, I would pull all-nighters playing StarCraft and Warcraft and all these games, right? And I was just a pure degenerate. So this is related, don't worry. So what ended up happening was I was thankfully. So there's also a pro to that entire thing. The counter pro was that women didn't have social media back then either, right? So it wasn't difficult to date, I want to say, right? It wasn't hard. Like the girl that I had a 7-year relationship from 20 to 27, right? And I don't even remember how I got that girlfriend. I just asked her out on a date. I was like, hey, can I take you out? And you know what the weird thing was back then? I didn't have any nervousness or anxiety about asking a girl out back then either, right? So I'd just be like, hey, do you want to go out? She'd be like, yeah, okay, sure. And then we just ended up going on dates, and then we just ended up having a 7-year relationship. Now, what I didn't know at the time, again, we didn't have access to information, right? But I just ended up playing World of Warcraft for 5 years, man. Straight. So I was kind of in, and then she left my ass, obviously. And looking back now with a red pill lens, I don't resent her. I kind of understand why she left me, because the whole maybe it was hypergamy, but it was more all I did. I had a good job. I had a nice stable job. I had a 9-to-5. I made good enough money to pay my bills, and then I just kind of hung out with her, watched TV, and I played World of Warcraft, man. At the time when I look back, I thought my life was pretty good. It was pretty chill. I want to say it's kind of what the life that men want to aspire to achieve now. It's nice when you just have a girl at home that's chill. Not an Instagram junkie, not a social media farm fest. she just kind of watches TV with you and hangs out with you, and you guys play video games, right? We used to play like Super Mario and shit together. So anyway, and then, we both got fat because we're home all the time. We ate junk food. This was before my bodybuilding phase, so I didn't know about nutrition. I didn't know about weightlifting. When we met, I was quite handsome. I was lean. I didn't overeat. I did a lot of hiking and stuff. Had a full head of hair, right? And then by the end of that relationship, I was unrecognizable. In terms of I was obese. I've shown pictures of my obesity. That was the picture that I show all the time on my other channel. I was obese. Didn't really have any ambition because I made enough money at my job, so I didn't need more, right? I was more interested in just playing video games because video games were awesome, right? I still love video games, right? But anyway, she looks at her life and she's like, I can probably do better. And then this was right around when Facebook and Tinder and these things were starting to come out, right? They were starting to it was an unfortunate. I'm not saying they were correlated, but it was starting to happen, right? I mean, I tried Tinder for a couple of months there. But anyway, back to what I should have been doing in that time. If I knew what I knew now, I should have. I'm not I like a balanced lifestyle. So if I want to play video games, I'm gonna do it, right? I'm just but I'm not gonna degen them anymore. That's what I'm thinking. So if I want to play a video game, 2 to 3 hours max. If you have an 8-hour job, 1 to 2 hours max per day. The rest of the time should be to build your wealth. It should be. And this was when I realized this, when I got divorced, right? So it's funny because us guys, this is the hard part for younger guys is finding motivation to actually go and build your wealth, which I understand because I didn't really have a desire to build any wealth either until I actually got married. Here's the whole fucked up thing about this entire situation. So and again, I will relate this to you. Don't worry, this is all very important to understand, right? So what happened was I got married it's kind of like the exact same pretense as before. We were chill, we had our jobs, we made enough money to pay our bills, and we played video games and we didn't really want any more than that, right? Then social media happened, my friend. Well, social media was already happening at this point, but now social media had already ingrained itself into female psychology. What I mean by that is comparison bias, right? Even though me and my ex had a great life together, it was never enough. She would always shift. Man, this is when I learned how toxic social media was, right? She would see her friends buy a new house. Why don't we have a nice big house? She would see her friends buy a new car. Why don't we have a brand new car? I'm like, babe, that's all on payments and that's all on debt. You don't see the bills of those people. You only see the shiny new things. She couldn't conceptualize that shit. She was too stupid to understand. God, dude, it's so fucking insufferable. So you can see. So anyway, we were already starting arguments about how much we need to make, how much money we need to make, and how much is... We were arguing about how much money we needed versus how much money we wanted to buy shiny new things that we needed. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll start doing, this was right in the pandemic, right? I'm like, I'll start doing YouTube. I know I can do it. I'm better than everybody at tuning PCs, right? I already knew I was better than everybody. So I start the other channel, It is extremely successful. It took, unfortunately, it took me about like 3 years of really grinding that channel before I actually started making any money on it. So here's the thing. Here's the entire epiphany of this video right now, okay? What I learned, and this comes back to female psychology, man. It's fascinating. They turn their men into men that they don't want to date. So here, if you're watching from a red pill lens, watch the series of events of how this happened, right? She has comparison bias of her friends buying shiny new things. Therefore, she's like, I need my man to be more driven to buy the shiny new things. And then the man wants to make the wife happy. Therefore, he's like, well, okay, I'll work 16 hours a day if that makes you happy, and we'll buy the shiny new things. And then she's like, you're working too much. I'm like, you can't make this shit up, dude. Yeah, like, you can't make this shit up. And then it's like, what? You told me to fucking do this, right? You told me. I was fine. I had enough money before. You're the one that wants all the shiny new shit, right? And then she's like, no. You've been neglecting me for 2 years while you build your business, right? And then it's like, here's the crazy shit. I actually really enjoyed building a business, it's funny, which I wouldn't have done. It's weird. So like, women are a gift and a curse at the same time, because like, without women, we really wouldn't do shit, would we? That's kind of the epiphany that I had there. And then you can imagine how many hours I was spending with this girl arguing. So I had my 8-hour job, then I was trying to grind YouTube, then I was arguing with her for 2-3 hours a day, and cleaning up after her and shit. So what happened after we got divorced, and all of a sudden, I had an extra 4 hours a day of not arguing with her? My income like quadrupled. Like, I'm not even kidding. It quadrupled, man. I'm like, how is this even possible? How is because it doesn't make sense how like the rate of return of those 4 hours was compounded by like a multiplier of 4. And then what I realized later was the arguing raises cortisol. The arguing doesn't let you sleep. The arguing, and this is what I said at the beginning of the video, there's more to it than the money that you spend on them, right? When you're like, you almost have to think of your brain power as like an HP bar, you know what I'm saying? Or like a stamina bar. And when your brain power every day is being cut in half by a female with whatever the hell they want. I need to go plan the date. I need to make sure that if she gets sick, I need to like bring her soup and take care of her. I need to make sure that the in-laws have their toilet fixed. Like there's just like, so what I'm trying to get at here, this is really tough. This is like, for you younger guys, man, I'm sharing my experience and I'll offer some solutions, but this is kind of where it gets really tough, right? So like, if you're a guy, well, back to the stamina bar thing. So your stamina bar is being cut in half trying to like appease this female that just wants shit. She doesn't even know what she wants. It's just your responsibility to make her happy, and your stamina bar gets cut in half doing that, right? So then, when the eventual breakup happens, yeah, your stamina bar kind of stays cut in half for like a few months while you grieve or whatever, or while you think you're grieving, right? But the faster you can get your stamina bar back up, you're like, holy shit. You're like, it makes you realize your brain like switches on. You're like figuring out algorithms. You're like smarter. You're like building products. You're like you can like grind, and you're rewarded for like your effort and shit. Like the stamina bar is rewarding you with more stamina. And then you realize like women are fucking toxic, brother. Like women are by far their own worst enemies. They're their own worst enemies, and then they're their man's worst enemy too. It's fucking insane, dude. So then you're like, well, so from my perspective, my income quadrupled. So I'm like, I don't know how to be with a woman and not have her drain my stamina bar, right? And then what they say in the red pill space, what they say in the red pill space is the woman should actually increase your stamina bar. Like she should be a complement to your life. And, you know, I have had that this girlfriend that I'm dating right now, I would say she does do that. She, even then, man, I don't know. It's like, I've never had a woman actually increase the stamina bar. Here's where, this is kind of the rationale or the situation that I'm in right now. And I think I've talked about this before, but I think this is probably the ideal situation for us men in 2026 right now. So when it comes to money, okay, and how much money you need to make, and actually just being motivated to make money, right? It's hard to get motivated to make money. So you're a younger guy, and you're like, I would like to have a family one day. I would like to date a girl and have a family. And if your experience is anything like mine, do you know how much money you need to have a family? You need to have a shit ton of money. And in order to make a shit ton of money, you need your stamina bar full at all times to focus on your shit. And if you're trying to date at the same time, you're basically, so let's take, it's tough, man. Okay, so here's the fork in the road for every man. And this is there's only 8 hours, there's only 24 hours in a day, right? Here's the trouble. After that 7-year relationship, that breakup that I had, from 27 until like 33, like 5 years, I partied. I went clubbing every single night, dude. That was my party phase, right? That's how I know all this information now, because I was following the RSD guys at the time. I went out every single night, dude. Wednesday night, Tuesday night, I was fucking out every single night, right? It was good times. But in doing that, there was no chance in hell I was ever gonna have a big enough stamina bar to actually create any meaningful levels of wealth. And in fact, I barely made it to work every day on time. And I would like sleep on my desk and shit. It was a disaster, dude. Thankfully, I just like never got caught sleeping at my desk. But holy shit, it was bad, dude. It was bad. But on the flip side, I met so many good women. I had so much fun, one night stands. All my social skills developed. I'm not like socially awkward now. Actually, in fact, I would argue that the experiences that I had going out partying back then is paying dividends now in a world of socially awkward dudes, right? So it's almost like every guy needs to have a party phase to like break the autism out of them, right? But rewind, here's the fork in the road, right? And I guess Alex Hormozy talks about this too, right? He's like, no matter which path you take, man, you're giving something up. It doesn't matter, right? So if you spend your 20s, if the goal is a family at the end, it's like if you spend your 20s building a business and working and grinding because you know that having a woman would deplete your stamina bar, then you're just gonna have to give up your social skills and you're gonna have to give up partying for at least 10 years while you figure this You figure this shit out, like the age of AI, right? Or you're like, I'll build my business later. I'm gonna go party in my 20s. And then you give up the wealth aspect of it. It, I don't know how you would do both. Honestly, the only way you could actually do both is if you actually work in that industry or in an industry where you get to meet a lot of people. Like a bartender, a bouncer, a club promoter, anything with really high traffic. Restaurants is a very good one. If you're a chef or a waiter, lots of waitresses. So if you're a guy in your Costco, if you're a guy in your 20s, you almost need to be strategic about the jobs that you get so you can date women while you're at work or not court them, but like, so if you're this is just pro tip type of shit, right? This is what I should have done back in the day. I should have gotten a job as a waiter. And then while I was at work, I could have chatted up the waitresses. We kind of did that back in the day at McDonald's when I was like 16, 17. Everyone all us kids that worked at McDonald's all dated each other, right? Which I didn't understand what was going on at the time. But then you're working and socializing and dating you're getting paid to socialize with the opposite sex. That's where you want to be as a 20-year-old or like a younger kid. Then when you get home, you don't play video games, you find out how to get rich and make money. That's what you do, right? Not me working a corporate job at a desk job when I'm like 21. I didn't meet anybody at my day job, dude. For 17 years, I worked that job. Never met anybody, so I had to go out and party, right? So then what's the ideal scenario, right? It's kind of the situation that I'm in now, situationship. This girl that I'm dating now, when those red pill guys that say the woman should complement your life or add to your stamina bar, this is like the best that I've found. Let me explain. So the girl that I'm dating now, we see each other twice a week. My sexual needs are met, but I pay for all the dates and stuff. And this is kind of how I know it's a net neutral, because this was the same girl that I went to Japan with, for you guys that know about the Japan trip. But because I'm dating her and she doesn't cause problems, basically the best case scenario for a woman is she just doesn't get in your way. That seems to be the best. Or she doesn't deplete your stamina bar. So my stamina bar, for those of you in my tech channel, you kind of know I'm always full of energy and I'm always like active and doing business stuff all the time. So my stamina bar is always full. So she's not taking it away, right? So when we got back from Japan, we got into a huge fight about long story. I'll just save it for another video, but we stopped talking for a month or two. I can't remember, like a month and a half or so. Before she realized she ain't ever getting better than this, right? But we stopped talking for like a month. And what I realized after we stopped talking was that my monetization didn't change and my stamina bar didn't change. And here's why. Because she got removed, right, from the equation. So the money that I was spending on her to kind of just go on dates and have nice dinners and stuff, I was saving that money, but now I was wasting more time going on dates with new girls and meeting new women and stuff. And you have to schedule like 2-3 dates a week with different girls to try and get the ball rolling, get that funnel going. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like I was saving money by not spending it on my girlfriend, but I was wasting time going on dates with new girls. Therefore, my monetization was suffering. So I was saving more, but not making as much. But it seemed to be like net neutral overall with both situations. So then this is what I realized this was like November, December. So that's what I realized. I was like, okay, So whether I have a girlfriend or not, whether I'm going on dates or not, this seems to be the best case scenario. Like, no girl is ever gonna like edit my videos for me. No girl is ever going to clean my house for me. Maybe, fuck. Actually, you know what? My girlfriend, she does do my dishes once in a while, but that takes me like 5 minutes. That's nothing, right? She does cook for me sometimes, but that takes like 10 minutes. But it's like, the most stamina she could ever add to my bar is maybe like 30 minutes or something. It's not like she goes down to the US mailbox for me and picks up my mail. It's not like, yeah, she doesn't add to my business, or she doesn't actively make me money at all. All she can really do is just not drain my stamina bar and get out of my way. Which is I like that. That's not a bad scenario. That's the best that I could do, man. I have never met a girl that actually, I guess I never met a girl. Maybe we'll save this for another video, but I never actually met a girl that believed I wanted what was best for her in order to actually help me with my business, and that was actually competent enough to do so. So that's like a whole different unicorn in itself. Meeting a girl that's competent enough to help you and that wants to help you. Because in 2026, they're never really gonna wanna help you because they have that fear. So they have that fear of, if I help him grow and he leaves, I'm pretty sure that's what happened to my ex, right? She thought that I was growing and I was gonna leave her, so she left first, kind of thing, right? Before I got famous. So if the girls are like, if I help him to grow and to be this monster and be this weapon or whatever, all he's gonna do is leave me and cheat on me anyway. Therefore, I'm not going to. It's a rational fear. I don't know how they would navigate that one, right? Because I can understand that. It's like, if I help a buddy of mine become a millionaire or something, there's no guarantee of ROI on that investment, right? I'm better off just doing it myself and investing that time in myself, right? I would never, that's not true in the opposite. I always try to help my women become successful, come to think of it. Now I'm just much more selective about it, I guess, right? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's just easier to make money if you're single, man. Moral of the story. That's kind of what I wanted to wrap up here with. You gotta choose, man. Make sure when you're vetting the woman that you're dating, you know what you have to do to finish this up? You have to audit your time. You have to audit your time. How much money am I spending on this girl? How much time would it cost me to go on new dates? How much time am I wasting not trying to figure out how to make more money? And invest it. Learn how to trade. Learn how the S&P works. Learn how long-term compounding works. Learn how social media works. That's why I was saying at the beginning of the video, go get a job at like a restaurant or some shit, or a high traffic job where you have to socialize with women all the time so you can get 2 birds with 1 stone over there and learn how to make a business. You gotta be smart about that shit, man. That's what I should have done when I was a kid. Instead of playing World of Warcraft and getting fat, brother. Think about where I would be now if I didn't do that, right? Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you. Try to figure out how to make money, but don't give up those social skills either. Because would I be as successful as I am today without my social skills, right? I don't think you can give that up either. And here, the last thing I'll finish with. If you do give up your social skills in your 20s, and you come out the other end at 35, a multimillionaire, and you never had a girlfriend before, you're a fucking target, dude. You will get played. You will get this. Those 15 years that you worked to try to have enough to build a family, some snake will just come and take your entire half net worth. You worked your entire life for that half net worth, and you won't be able to sniff out the snake. That's a big problem, dude. You have to learn social skills. You have to be able to read the snakes, dude. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, guys, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Scroll down, hit that subscribe button, join my Discord, talk to me in there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.